Hi and welcome to South African Homesteader. As many of you who have been watching my channel for the past almost more than 9 months know, we embarked upon this journey of homesteading in August of 2021, which makes this now exactly 9 months and 1 week since we've moved here. When we moved here, we moved to vacant land. There was nothing on the land, and we decided that we were going to sort of develop the land while staying on the land. With this, we then decided to acquire some tents, and we set up this tent where we are currently living in. The section that I'm sitting in currently is an extended, is a kitchen area that my husband, it's not part of the tent is on that side. This is a kitchen area, and it's a 3 by 6. It's a nice reasonable sized kitchen, very makeshift, but it does the job. It's raining today, and what we also then did is we were waiting for our plans to be approved, and then we started the build in mid-Feb. So the house that we built basically is in a U shape, and we are building this house in 3 phases. We're building it in phase 1, where there's bedroom, where we then will move into, use one of the bedrooms as a kitchen in the meantime, while we are then completing the second phase, which is the living area, and then thereafter we will complete the third phase. So just getting that out of the way. If you would like to see any of our videos regarding the house and you haven't watched it already, then you can go into my video list and you can just see which ones has to do with the house build. I will link the last one that I did at the bottom in the description below. So the topic that I really want to speak about is, did this journey thus far meet our expectations of homesteading and self-sustainability? Because we've only been here for 9 months. Also, if you have watched the channel, you will see that what the garden looked like in summer, and at the moment it's winter, or just embarking upon winter here in Cape Town, in the Western Cape in South Africa. So we are basically on a sort of a clean-up mission of the garden. We've planted some cabbage and spinach and cauliflower, broccoli, beetroot, turnips. I've planted some garlic couple of months ago, and also some turmeric. So we do have some things in the ground. Did the move meet my expectations and my husband's expectations? When he's ready, then I will ask him to join me, and then he can tell me his perspective on whether the move met his expectations. If he's not available, then I will do a separate video just to get an overview of how both of us feel about this move. So when we moved here, we started on our garden first. We lived in this tent, which I have also shown in one of the previous videos, where we had no running water and no electricity. Those are things that came afterwards, and it came after the plans were approved. We could only get our electricity and our water connections. So we were completely off grid until this year, from August of last year, completely off grid. We used to have water tanks. We used to collect our water from neighbors. We used to get drinking water from our bottles. We had our JoJo tank was on top of one of the buckies, and we used to fill it opposite at our neighbors so that we had water. And then the electricity, we had none, but we did have, and we still do have, a small solar system where we have very small, it's a huge solar panel, and then we have inverter and then we have the battery, and we have the control panel. So we still have that. And actually in winter, that wouldn't have been sufficient. So I am so grateful that we actually do have electricity now at the moment. We will be ready to move into our home, and it won't be finished, it will be incomplete, but it will be a lot warmer. The space that we will be moving into, we're trying to complete it at the moment, so they are busy with plastering and painting and floor streets and all of those. So at least we will not be, because at the moment what is protecting us from the cold is merely the canvas of the tent. And although it's a double canvas on top, on the sides it's just single canvas. And so in the morning when you wake up, when it's very cold, you can actually feel your hair is cold. The temperature of the air is what the temperature of my hair is. So we really want to move in, even though it is not finished, but the whole house isn't finished, but the one section will be at least complete. Okay, so enough about the house now. In terms of the self-sustainability and in terms of the challenges, was this move worth it? And my answer to that is 100%. I am so accustomed now to being able to have as much garden space as I want to being able to plant. I'm so used to going into the garden to get chilies, to get peppers, and still today there's chilies and peppers, whether it's winter or summer, chilies and peppers are there. We did a harvest of our potatoes in Feb, and since then we've done a few potato harvests. So I haven't bought potatoes, and we use a lot of potatoes because I love potatoes. So we haven't bought potatoes since Feb, beginning of Feb, because we harvested that on about the 20th of Feb. So we've never bought potatoes again. Tomatoes, I haven't bought tomatoes. I have plenty of frozen tomatoes. I've made some tomato sauce. I have made pizza sauce. I have made tomato with onions and green pepper. I just had that braised and made it almost into a salsa or a tomato smoor, as we know it here in the Cape. So I have many of those jars that are frozen, and so it makes it easy when I cook. I just take one of that out, pop it into my pot, and I'm ready to add whichever flavor, spices or types of meat, etc. that I would like to put in there. So we also have plenty of pumpkins which we've harvested that we still have in our store. We have our chickens, our layer chickens. We have broiler chickens, which is our meat chickens, and layer chickens. Now our layer chickens, they have started laying eggs about, because we got them when they were 1 day old. So they've started laying eggs, I think it was 2 months ago, and we get something in the region of about 20 eggs a day. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it just depends. So in terms of food sustainability, we've harvested so many cucumbers in summer, which I have pickled. I have pickled beetroot. I have made it just speaks to what I've been wanting to do. I have been wanting to grow my own food organically, and then I also wanted to store some of the food for when we don't have that particular crop anymore. So I would then pickle it and store that. So besides all the crops, I mean, we have eggplants which I made moussaka from. I have all sorts of vegetables that we use. In the week I made a pot of soup, and I used celery from the garden, parsley from the garden, carrots from the garden, potatoes from the garden. Basically all my vegetables came from the garden, and then I added my meat and I made my soup. Butternut, I still have plenty of butternuts, so I've made butternut soup. I've made pumpkin food stews, cauliflower stews, cabbage stews, and I even did a video on how I freeze my cauliflowers, my broccoli and my cabbage for times that I don't have that particular vegetable. So in terms of food sustainability, it's definitely, I cannot explain the feeling that I get when I cook and I know that these are food that was started from a seed and I actually can now cook with this food. It's an ingredient in my meal. And I can 100% say that each meal that I've cooked since the summer months when we started the harvest, each meal have had something from the garden, whether it is coriander in my curry, whether it is the potatoes in my curry, the tomatoes, or whichever ingredient, but we have been eating from this garden and from our animals. The eggs, I baked yesterday, I baked a potato pudding, and from the potatoes in my that we harvested. So, and the eggs, it uses 8 eggs, and the eggs came from the garden, from the chickens. So it's definitely met all of those expectations. The other thing that I'm also loving about it is the fact that I have so much space at my disposal where I can, things that I haven't thought about as yet. We have a goat, we have chickens, meat chickens, broiler chickens. In other words, we have meat chickens and we have egg layer chickens. We are hoping to get some sheep soon, and then we would like to raise those sheep so that they can have babies, and then we can increase our flock of sheep. So all of these things, the amount of space that you have, that you can grow your gardens, the quality of life is amazing. I wouldn't exchange this for anything. So has it met my expectations? I think more than 100%, if you can get more than 100%. But it's definitely it's met my expectations. My husband was skeptical in the beginning, although he was the one that wanted to come and live here while we developed. And I am going to let him tell you what his feelings are about whether we... Look, we've had to make a lot of sacrifices. We've made so much of sacrifices, but every single one of it was worth it. So from my perspective, if this is what you dream about, if this is what you think you would like to do, and you are by the means to do it, if this is something that you feel that you are willing to make sacrifices for, and you have it within your makeup to do something like this, to make those type of sacrifices, then yes, I will say go ahead. But if that's not who you are, if you are not the type of person who can live without your home comforts. I mean, I was used to the home comforts, and I am still used to home comforts, and I am wanting my home comforts back, which is why we are pushing to get the house finished. But I think for me, the end goal was bigger than the sacrifice. So I never saw, it's like, I don't see the sacrifice that I'm making while I am making it, because what I have in mind is my end goal all the time. And that, I think, is what pushed us forward so quickly, that we are now by the means we can actually almost move into a house that is partially finished and that will protect us from the cold, especially the winter. And so my answer to that question is, I am 100%. You know, the thing is, every day, every single day, I wake up with excitement in my heart, because what are we going to do today? So every day there's a new challenge, there's a new excitement, there's something to look forward to, there's no boredom. And I'm 100% sure that the move that we made was the right one for us. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel because you would maybe like to follow our journey, then please click on that subscribe button. There's also a like button, which if you like this video and you would like to see more of the content of the farm, then please click on the like button. So from me, Haria at South African Homesteader, until next time.